I could give you anything and everything on a silver platter. Uthando lwethu lunameva inhliziyo iyakhala kodwa ungambelele yeba kukholula thando lwami.
Well, like any transition, there's always challenges in business because I was a broadcaster. I just arrived in studio and I started broadcasting. But with the advent of technology, you have to adapt to the changing times. Which meant that you need to learn a new language. You know how these things work with the Twitter, internet, Facebook, Instagram, and how all those things work, and how you can use those platforms, to further enhance the work that which you do. So you go through the usual challenges, like you have to learn how that business operates. You have to try and raise funding, which is not always easy. You have to get the right kind of people and skills to come in and help you with what you want to do. It's a bit like moving completely. I know content and broadcasting, but once I was now moving into these areas, whether it's in government, I needed to learn how government operates, the executive, which is the one arm of government, parliament, which is the one arm of government, and the legislature, because when you work in the office of the minister, you oversee the work of the department. So you have to learn how the department works, how the ministry works, how parliament works, and all the different spheres of government. Also now bringing all of that experience into the tech now. How do you use technology to bring all of these elements together? So I would say it requires an attitude of learning. You must be prepared to learn and be humble enough when you don't know to get the people who know to teach you about this thing, but also your own further upskilling, I think has been important as you try and build, because any area that you're going into, you're going to have to learn and upskill yourself, because coming from sport and being a broadcaster, becoming a person who operates in the technology space, it's a completely different space. You have to get the people and you have to learn, you have to read up and engage with people who are very good in that space.
What we are doing is we decided to have we called it a brown bag session. And the reason we called it a brown bag is because, during lunch, you just have your small brown bag where we sit and exchange ideas. So the whole point of it was we felt like what we're doing is very critical and it's important, but a lot of people don't know about it. So now we're starting to bring people to guys, this is what we do. It's good for your business and it's a black success story. Because, if you do research, there's not a lot of black companies that do what we do. One, because the skill is rare. But two, because the type of business that is required, I think as Walter was saying earlier, it's accessible to other races. So what we're trying to do basically here is to guys, this is our story. We are telling it to you, but please also tell it for us to other people. And the whole point is because, like I said, that in the past probably 3 years, we've hired probably 15 interns. So we are running internships and we had to make sure that it's guys who are unemployed, guys who are sitting at home. So we're not just, chasing after business, but just making sure we'll uplift the black person. So that's the story we just wanted to tell today.
The whole idea. Well, I'll start to say, Solvyng should be your preferred partner. Solvyng should be your preferred partner. We are actually an advanced sort of premier tier with AWS. So what cloud would do for you actually, in partnership between Solvyng and AWS is that it will change the way you do things. It will pretty much digitize your landscape. It will pretty much sort of provide with your operational efficiency. It will allow you to actually even gain some added advantage into the market. Through the use of some of these cloud services, you are able to actually gain that agility. You are able to actually, be the first person to be on the market with new solutions and being competitive with other sort of providers and so forth. So what I would say to you is that, if you allow us to actually come and reevaluate your environment and stuff, we should be able to actually come up with, to find solutions also for your current sort of landscape, or potentially we can actually improve, how you currently do things within your current landscape. So we should be your preferred sort of like partner for digitization.
Easier for you to tap into the technology space, like the guy was explaining to us on how money is being transferred from the bank to the next one. For you, when you just sit, it just, you think it's just something that happens automatically. But when you get here, you get to learn the basics, the operations, and that is something you can take from this to your company to make it fast and efficient as other big companies are doing.
Of sport, technology, and politics. You need the politics to create the policies, because it is through politics that members are sent to the legislatures, are sent to parliament to make the laws. And those laws are laws that which can help businesses to grow, and those businesses will also include sport. Because in sport now, you've seen when they play, they've got heart rates, monitors, and all of that, because they're able to check this player has run so many kilometers in a game, covered so many distances, and all of that. So all of that thing, check ama-stats game mayidlala, they're able to babonisa nama-statistics so that ubone halftime stats. That's how they're able to capture all of that. How many corners, how many attempts at goal. That is where technology is used for sport. But the importance, as I'm saying, in politics is so that you go there to make the laws, so that even technology does not harm the people. We find the people, they are now using technology in the wrong way, or post the wrong things, what is called cyberbullying.
The most important person for us is our customer's customer, right? And the reason they are important is because those people are important to our customer, because ultimately what we provide has to have the business outcome that is very clear, that is measurable for our customers. And what they care about is the services that they have to deliver and the value that they have to deliver, right? So then how we structured our solutions, we're like, okay, cool. We see you're already running a business, but how about we help you run it better? How about we optimize it? How about we optimize it at low cost? How about we give you solutions that are capital light, but also that improve efficiency, that improves resilience and those kind of things, right? And ultimately, the whole reason for that is so that the value you're trying to add to your customer, you can add it faster, you can add it quicker, you can be innovative, you can be agile as a business, and fail fast even if you want to be innovative and try stuff. So that's kind of like what we do. But we leverage technology to do that. So we just leverage all kinds of different technologies, that offer speed, that offer like low cost, as I was saying, and resilience and all those kind of things.
When I say security is that you moving from your on-premise into the cloud does not mean that you should sort of like neglect security, right? You can still be hacked also on-prem, but now once you move into the cloud, it means that your exposure is a bit higher. So what then needs to happen, you need to ensure that you implement all the necessary controls that would potentially protect your environment, and with the use of multiple services that a cloud has, that allow you to actually do those things, as quickly as possible without actually having to invest on all these other sort of like security tools or so forth, And the other thing is, if you were to look at some of the shared responsibility models, right? One is, let's say, on-prem, if you had your own servers and stuff, you are responsible for that security of that particular server, right? But however, if you now move into the cloud, guess what? You're no longer responsible for that server. The cloud provider, in this scenario being AWS, they're responsible in securing that environment, ensuring no one can come in there. But once you put in your data into that platform, into that server, you then become the person that's responsible to actually secure the data. So now, once you're in the cloud, you have different sort of like solutions that you can apply. One is to ensure that you encrypt your data. So meaning where you put in your data, it's encrypted. Even if someone has to get hold of it, they don't have the necessary keys to be able to decrypt your data. So that's one. The other thing is to ensure that, you don't just give people access to your infrastructure, to your data and so forth. So you apply some of those well-known best practices, that's least privileges, and to your platform or to your data and so forth. So you constantly need to relook at your security posture. You constantly need to sort of like remediate and, apply all the necessary controls. So where we come in, we are able to actually perform some assessment where we are able to identify whether there are any other sort of like security vulnerabilities within your environment, and if there are, would provide some recommendation, would potentially even actually help you, implement some of those recommendations to ensure that your environment is secure.
Actually, what I'd like for us to do is to get their services, because we also do have a company that would actually work well. We pay a lot of people monthly, and things do get slow with how the server can get, because we obviously it's being operated from other companies. But when you have these people's services, then they're able to make things quicker. We get trouble with having to pay people late, or people didn't get paid, or because maybe the server is down or the network is down, or whatever the situation is. However, with us, then you don't get to have those problems. They actually are solving your initial problems that you have in the office when you need, to work efficiently with clients.
Remember because what we do is very new. It's very new to businesses. It's a new way of doing things. It's very disruptive. So one of the things we've had to make sure that we do is, when we go to a customer, for example, and we build a solution, we also train them. We also educate them on the value in terms of, cost, in terms of the benefits that they're going to get, but also upskill their people, because we don't want to just be there as guys who are coming from outside, because they still want to grow as an organization. So then what we do is to help them grow is we'll build for them, we'll manage for them, but also we'll upskill them so that they can do it themselves, and we're out. In that way, there's actual real value for them. So even AWS supports us with, academies and trainings to train us, for us to train our customers. Yeah.
If you can't connect to these guys, it simply means that you won't be able to use that flow for you to initiate some of those payments. So once you connected to these guys, now they are responsible to ensure that they can create that interoperability between the banks, right? But what technology has done now, with the adoption of cloud, it has pretty much removed some of the other sort of like intermediary sort of like companies, the ones that were facilitating the connectivity between your bank, right, with the bank serve, and also between bank serve and your bank. So it has removed those patterns, because now the technology, you can now connect directly to bank serve without actually needing some of those third-party vendors or so to facilitate from your connectivity.